Hey guys, welcome back. It is January 4th, Thursday, 2018. And here we are again with our market cap in front of us here. I do not believe that at this current time we are breaking all-time highs, but we are right up there. This is the last week, and just for fun, comparing our last week total market cap to our last week in just the cryptos aside from altcurrencies, I should say, aside from Bitcoin, we look pretty stinking similar. And let's just make this a week to see how Bitcoin is looking, slowly trending down, and we may be close to all-time lows. So I believe, it's already a month. It is a month. Yeah, let's go back here to 7 days. I believe, yeah, our all-time low was here on January 4th. So that's crazy. Anyway, so what's we got here? Okay, so we've got Ethereum. Speaking of market caps, where CoinMarketCap.com lists Ethereum at over $1,000 right now. One interesting thing I saw was TRX, which is well up there in the what people are willing to trade for Ethereum, and they're up there in the highest volume, the very top of the list of what people are trading for Ethereum and vice versa. I'm guessing that could be because people are actually putting new money in. There's possibly they're transferring with Ethereum because it is less expensive. That's my rough guess on why Ethereum is at the top. It's, as far as I can tell, not always the case. And this is good old Binance here. Just looking at TRX, looking at it, has very much taken off in the last. So each candle I believe is 6 hours, but it is looking pretty good right now. Yeah, so that's in the news. I believe Coinbase. If we could see that on here, GDAX, ETH to USD. I don't know that we've actually broken 1,000 yet on GDAX, but that'll be interesting when that happens. That'll be cool. Let's see here. Ripple. Talked about Ripple a lot. I think Ripple, yeah, like I said, I think they have basic questions they need to answer. Even really core questions like how exactly the Ripple coin is going to be used with Ripple itself, because they're two separate things, and it's not clear that the banks are going to be putting hardly any money in the Ripple coin. And the fact that we're at $3 and almost $120 billion market cap, second to Bitcoin itself, when what seemed to me like fundamental, really important questions like that aren't answered, is just I don't know. To me, it's like either there's a lot of people that know something I don't, or people are acting off of FOMO and get quick, fast type, get rich quick type schemes, and find it a little concerning. But if you're making money off of it, best to you. What's next? Okay, Bitcoin. This is the triangle I've been talking about. Still being updated a little bit here by Tonebase. We've got basically a bar to a break right here that I think signifies a bullish. We need to break that. I think it's also interesting that I'm not 100% sure. I think this is the daily, possibly, maybe. What time frame is this? But it's just interesting that the last two times, it's been very, very indecisive. I'm not 100% sure what I think it's day. Is it day? Sorry. Yeah, it's just really interesting that we've been so indecisive as far as we've gone all the way around on this. We've touched the edge of this arguable trend from hitting here, hitting here, hitting here. Generally, when you draw these, you want to hit at least 3 points before you consider it a trend, and we're having hit. The 2 and the 3 are both hitting just barely off that you could possibly argue it's a support line there, at least a trend line, I guess, rather. Yeah, we'll see. We're finding it out. We're at $15,117, and this is Bitfinex. So we'll see. It's like really the same thing as I was saying yesterday. We want to break past this one, and then the next resistance to look for is this 2, and then we're gonna test all-time highs for Bitcoin again, and then who knows how high we're gonna go. And I have a video on estimating roughly about how high we'll go, and I will just say it's gonna be somewhere up here probably. Anyway, okay, next. Ethereum. I was going to talk about Ethereum last time and it didn't, but man, has it taken off. This is Ethereum to USD. Like I said, we're testing nearly $1,000. USD chart, we've never been this high in USD, so there's not a lot to refer back to. You could draw some Fibonacci lines here and predict how much higher we're going to go. So it does look like we are not quite at all-time highs right now. Here is Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and for us to meet our percentage of Bitcoin, we have to go back to September 9th, 2017. And it looks like, interestingly enough, this last bar, so this is the one day, so yesterday, we actually pretty much went up to, well, I guess we did go a little past. So we were basically testing this past resistance. Whether that resistance holds that long, I'm not sure. I think it's worth paying attention to. The fact that we're stopping roughly, I don't know, we're a little below resistance right now. But we'll see. I think $1,000 is most likely coming soon. So that's cool. What's next? Okay, so Richard Hart, another guy I really like, basically calling out Coinbase, and Brian Armstrong from Coinbase. You can actually look him up here. Says he's the co-founder and CEO at Coinbase. Basically saying that he's not so happy that they haven't integrated Segwit yet, and basically why that matters, that it's not only Coinbase that's not. I believe, let's see here. BitPay and some other large Bitcoin related companies are not integrating Segwit, which makes transactions more expensive and slower. It's like you have this huge, awesome upgrade to Bitcoin where a lot of the users would benefit, and they're not using it. You can't, as a user, use Segwit with Coinbase because they don't allow it. They don't have it. And arguably, some people think it's because Coinbase, possibly Brian Armstrong, have something against Bitcoin, and it's all rumors. Like I don't know this, and so I take it with a huge grain of salt. But they have something against Bitcoin and something for Bitcoin Cash, and arguably they want people pushing to alts and possibly using Bitcoin Cash. So I don't know that. Coinbase, from the little I've read, basically saying that they're working on it and that it's more complicated than people think to integrate. I don't know how true that is. Anyway, I think it is something that I would like to give them pressure for. In this video, Richard Hart is very hard on Brian Armstrong, and as much as I want to do my part in encouraging Segwit for any company, I do also recognize, and I know this is something Richard Hart has said himself, that there's not a lot of companies like Coinbase right now, and where we can take our US dollar and buy Bitcoin with it. I think Gemini is the other exchange you can do that when you live in the US. You pretty much have those two choices, as far as I know, and they're the two major exchanges, and Coinbase is by far bigger, I think. It's like no one else is doing it. They're the ones that at least you have something with them, and I figure if it's bad enough, then someone should create their own and integrate Segwit in it and make it more user friendly and crash less than Coinbase. But I don't know. Ryan Armstrong, Jimmy Song. Okay, CoinMarketCap. Can you list Bitcoin in bits instead? I'm sure one bit being 0.015 would make it easier to transition. Also, you can put the price of other coins in bits as another view. I would love to see that. I think looking at things in terms of Bitcoin, when so many of the altcoins and so many things you want to buy are such, they're after the decimal point. Like 0.1 of a Bitcoin right now is $1,500. So I mean, it's just, that's 0.1. It's just, Bitcoin is getting so, it's worth so much that the way we're used to referring to it isn't as useful anymore. And I think another thing that happens, and I think it happens with Ripple, people look at the number of times this happens is often that I'm talking to someone and they see a particular low cost coin and don't take into account the full market cap. Like Ripple has, obviously Ripple is $3 here, and its total market cap is $119 billion. And then you could compare that to the total market cap, the total amount of money, if you added up all of the coins essentially for Ethereum, is less than that. And yet Ethereum is over $1,000. And that's not because, I mean, the amount of money it's going to take for Ethereum to move is, or for Ripple to move $1 is, that would be, what would that be? 33% more money. So this would have to go up 33%. That's over, I mean, it's 120. You can do the math, over $40 billion for this to go up $1. For this to go up $1, for Ethereum to go up $1, you can do the math as well. It's extremely less, and it's just a percentage. And I feel like if people think about it, they can easily see if you divide a large amount of money into small little pieces, those pieces are going to be less valuable, but it's still going to take a lot of effort. So the likeliness of a coin going up 10 times and calculating that likeliness simply off of its current price is a fallacy and often very, very unfounded. So I'm not, anyway, don't think the coin's going to go up just because it's a low number. So I am very much for Bitcoin starting to be referred to with the bits, and I think it would just be useful for everyone. And I do think that fallacy of sorts of looking at something as a big number, not wanting it because you can't own one, and there is some psychological satisfaction in owning 1,000 of something, I feel like, as well. And that barrier could be easier to reach. People could feel more satisfied that they own, hundreds of Bitcoin, but really it's just the bits of the Bitcoin that they'd be owning, and the fact that it would be more useful in day-to-day use. And anyway, like it's almost a win-win to me. The only thing that's not a win is it'd be a change. But I think that it would be a good step in the right direction. I would love to see places like CoinMarketCap and exchanges and basic utility GUI interfaces with Bitcoin, whatever, starting to refer to things with bits. Next, cool thing. So I talked about the Raiden network. I always get it wrong, Raiden or Raiden network, and lightning swaps, which are both basically swaps that happen off the main chains, one for Ethereum and one for Bitcoin, essentially. Kind of smart contract type stuff. Basically, you can hold information on the side. You don't have to include it in the blockchain necessarily, And because of that, the mining fees and the mining time don't come into play in the way that they would if it was on the chain, and you can do things a lot more quickly and less expensively. And another thing that's kind of like that is, wait. Before I get to that, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Atomic swaps via Lightning Network. So atomic swaps are basically the ability to, as I understand it, and I'm not a programmer, but the way I understand it is it's basically, atomic basically means instant, and it means like at the same time. So as soon as atomic swaps are basic, sort of what it might sound like, where you're swapping something, obviously, and it's crypto, so you're swapping cryptos, and you're swapping them atomically, which means when one crypto is leaving, it instantly shows up in the other account the exact same time that that account shows up in the original account. So if you were swapping Litecoin for Bitcoin, you would instantly swap. Like the instant that Bitcoin leaves, that Litecoin shows up. And it's a creative, cool way, very quick. It's something that I've talked about, how everything is growing so quick this year that as you have more users, you have to be able to handle that many more users, and Bitcoin just simply hasn't been ready for something like that. But the fact that people are hinting that, I'll just read what he says. You probably read it by now, but from a recent conversation I had with someone who is building it, nearly instant atomic swaps via Lightning Network are coming sooner than everyone thinks. Definitely not a year away, but mere months. So the ability to swap quickly and inexpensively for another currency is coming in mere months. That is incredible news. And that's arguably incredible for things like Lightning. And because they're explicitly, like, that is one of their core use cases, is things like Lightning swaps, atomic swaps with the Lightning Network. So anyway, want to make sure that is out there. Binance will temporarily disable new user registrations. I have affiliate links for Binance below, because I think it's a great exchange. Like I said, I loved Coinbase. That's what everyone seems to start with here. And then Bittrex was great and has tons of volume. That was one of the amazing, useful, I guess, attributes of Bittrex. Binance came along. It was a cool new thing. And then and I think it's a decent exchange, and I think there's a chance it's a good exchange right now as they go. Then along came KuCoin, and it's very similar in a lot of ways, in my opinion, to Binance. And one of the things I just wanted to say, like I talked about this in another video, is specifically with coins like Neo, they will give you your daily gas. So if you're holding Neo, you'll get I don't know how many, a couple cents of gas. They'll just, whatever the gas works out to be, the KuCoin will give that to you. So you can automatically get interest on holding Neo in KuCoin. And I think that's pretty awesome. I think Bittrex does something similar, but they do it, maybe Binance does. I can't remember. Whatever exchange I had my Neo on gave it to you, but it was a lot more. It was like once a week or something like that. And if you were trading, there's just good chances that it wasn't going to come out right or something. But just knowing it's coming daily is pretty awesome. And that's just one reason why it seems to be pretty similar to Binance in most of the other ways. It is an exchange to consider, and I have a link below, affiliate link. You don't have to use my links. It does help me if people do. I also have a Coinbase. If you put $100 in Coinbase, you'll get $10. I'll get $10 too. But those are there. And anyway, that's basically what I have today. Man, I'd love to see Bitcoin go up here and just take off. And I think just for what it's worth, there is a chance that, I can tell you, when you're trading Bitcoin to whatever alt currency, if Bitcoin goes up, if nothing else, the percentage that currency is going to own of Bitcoin is going to go down. So It doesn't necessarily mean its US dollar value is going to go down. And just for what it's worth, part of the reason I hold alt currencies is as a hedge. So, if something happens to Bitcoin, a lot of times they go up. It's just a way of sort of averaging things out. And, there's a temptation to, if I think Bitcoin's going to go up, to sell every alt and go into Bitcoin. But I'm trying to, I don't know if it's really dollar cost averaging, but average things out a little bit over time. I only buy alts that I genuinely believe in, that I think I'm ready to hold for the long term. And like I said, I do not like Bitcoin Cash, but I consider it a hedge as well. Just, in the unlikely chance that Bitcoin fails, it's probably going to do really well. And I think it's been really useful for me to do that, I think. And simply holding has blown my mind. When I think things can't go up anymore, they just keep going up. Ripple is a great example of that. And what else was I going to say? On the other side, just for what it's worth of diversifying, I do think Carter Thomas said this today in his channel, Coin Mastery. He's a great person to follow on Twitter, and he's a great YouTube channel. He said, he basically was talking about, if you have $100, you have like $1,000, and you split it up into 10 alt currencies, kind of as a gamble, not really studying any of them, just hoping that a couple of them are going to really take off. If you had taken that same money, that same $1,000, and put it in something you actually knew, you're probably going to do a lot better. And that's the other side of diversification. You really do want to be intelligent and thoughtful as you possibly can in where you're putting your money. And the way I think of it is, if you are 90% sure and you put 90% of your money in something that you think is actually going to go up, you wait for the right time and then you put your money in there, your 90% of your money is going to go up. If you're just throwing money around, like you're throwing money around with, if you took that same $1,000 and just put it in random stuff, it's just the chance of you actually coming out ahead is just way lower. I mean, for you to be the same as if you put in something you believed in and you were pretty sure was actually going to work out to something, then I lost my train of thought, but you'd have to basically multiply your money from the few you get lucky so many times for it to be the same. I totally agree. And I think it is easy to just spread things out without thinking. And Peter Thiel, by the way, is someone that is explicitly said he looks at kind of long shot startups and goes all in, but he takes them very seriously, understands the fundamentals and the realities of what's going on, and his long shot bets have often done him very well. And I think it is a strategy to consider for sure. All right. Hey, I just noticed here. This is back to Tone Vase, and he has the Fibonacci's on here. I don't know why I didn't see that. I didn't realize these were Fibonacci's. It's amazing how well they work. But he has the next Fibonacci level at just under 29,000 Bitcoin. So, well, obviously $29,000. So, there we go. It's already drawn on here. So I mentioned it earlier, and I didn't even notice that. So anyway, guys, here is another daily update for me. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you later. Have a good night.